children, welcome to Ekaksha. I am Nipadas and today I will start the first English chapter of class 10. মৰমৰ ছাত্ৰ-ছাত্ৰীসকল, আজি আমি দশম শ্ৰেণীৰ ইংৰাজীৰ প্ৰথম পাঠটি আলোচনা কৰিম। Children, you must have heard of people writing letters to their friends or relatives. But have you ever heard of anyone who has written a letter to God? I'm sure you haven't. But in this lesson, we'll read about Lancho, a farmer who writes a letter to God. So why does he write a letter to God? What compels him to write a letter to God, and does he get a reply? These are the very interesting and exciting questions that will come to your mind. মৰমৰ ছাত্ৰ-ছাত্ৰীসকল, আজি আমি লেঞ্চো নামৰ এজন কৃষকৰ বিষয়ে পঢ়িম। তেখেতে ভগৱানলৈ এখন চিঠি লিখে। আচৰিত কথা নহয় জানো? কিয় লিখে আৰু তেওঁ উত্তৰ পায়নে? এইবোৰ প্ৰশ্নৰ উত্তৰ তোমালোকে পাবা যেতিয়া আমি পাঠটি পঢ়িম। Now, let me introduce you to the writer of this story. The writer of the story is G.L. Fuentes. He is a famous Mexican writer and he is best known for his work, A Letter to God. So, before we read the lesson, let us discuss a few things. পাঠটি পঢ়াৰ আগতে আমি কিছু কথা আলোচনা কৰোঁ আহা। They say faith can move mountains. It means that if we believe in something, if we have a goal and we want to achieve it, if we believe in it, if we are confident, then we can surely achieve it. আমি যদি বিশ্বাস ৰাখো, আমি যিকোনো কামেই কৰিব পাৰিম, যিমানেই কঠিন নহওক কিয়। But what should we put our faith in? This is the question that this lesson delicately poses. কিন্তু আমি কাক বিশ্বাস কৰিম? আমাৰ বিশ্বাসটো ক'ত ৰাখিম? সেইটো এটা খুব গুৰুত্বপূৰ্ণ প্ৰশ্ন. And as we read, you'll get to know that this lesson is all about faith. Lancho is a farmer who writes a letter to God when his crops are ruined, asking for 100 pesos. So in this lesson, we will read about a farmer called Lancho, and he writes a letter to God when his crops are completely ruined. Ruined means destroyed. ইয়াতে আমি লেঞ্চো নামৰ এজন কৃষকৰ বিষয়ে পঢ়িম আৰু তেখেতে ভগৱানলৈ এখন চিঠি লিখে। কেতিয়া? যেতিয়া তেওঁৰ খেতি পথাৰ ধ্বংস হৈ যায়। Asking for 100 pesos. And he's asking God for 100 pesos. What is peso? Peso is a currency of some Latin American countries, just as our currency is rupee. So, তেখেতে ভগৱানক 100 peso বিচাৰি এখন চিঠি লিখে. So now I'll ask you a few questions and you'll be able to answer the questions only when we read the lesson. Does Lancho's letter reach God? Does God send him the money? So Lancho's চিঠিখন ভগৱানলৈ গৈ পায়নে আৰু ভগৱানে উত্তৰ দিয়েনে? So these are the questions that you will be able to answer once we read the lesson. So children, let's read the chapter. The house, the only one in the entire valley. So the house, so here we are talking about a particular house, and you will get to know that this house belongs to Lancho. The only house in the entire valley. Entire means whole, and valley means a piece of land between two mountains. So in the valley, there was only one house. Set on the crest of a low hill. So crest means on top. So it was situated on top of a low hill. You might be asked, where was Lancho's house situated or located? So you will answer, Lancho's house was situated on top of a low hill. So ছাত্ৰ-ছাত্ৰীসকল, ইয়াতে এটি ঘৰৰ কথা কোৱা হৈছে আৰু ঘৰটি ক'ত অৱস্থিত? এখন চাপৰ পাহাৰৰ শিখৰত, একদম ওপৰত, and it was the only house in the entire valley. Valley মানে দুখন পাহাৰ বা পৰ্বতৰ মাজত যে সমতল ঠাই থাকে, সেইখিনি ভ্যালি বুলি কোৱা হয়, উপত্যকা। So সেই ভ্যালিত এটাই মাত্ৰ ঘৰ আছিলে। From this height, one could see the river and the field of ripe corn. From this height, here it means the place where Lancho's house was located. From the top of the hill, when you looked down, you could see two things. First, the river, and second was the beautiful field of ripe corn. When the corns are ripe, you can imagine how beautiful it will look. A field which will be yellow in color, full of ripe corns, dotted with flowers that always promised a good harvest. So when you looked at the field from top, you could feel that it would lead to good crops. And harvest means it is that time of the year when the crops are fully grown, they are fully matured, and then you can gather the crops and take them back home. So, ওপৰৰ পৰা যেতিয়া আমি চাওঁ তললে, য'ত লেন্সৰ ঘৰটো অৱস্থিত তললে আমি যেতিয়া চাওঁ আমি দুটা বস্তু দেখো। প্ৰথম কি? The river, নদী, আৰু দ্বিতীয় হৈছে field of ripe corn. কৰ্ণ মানে মাকৈ, ৰাইপ মানে পকি থকা মাকৈৰ খেতি পথাৰখন। কল্পনা কৰাচোন কিমান ধুনীয়া হালধীয়া খেতি পথাৰ, পকি থকা মাকৈ। And it promised a good harvest. আৰু ওপৰৰ পৰা আমি দেখি গম পাওঁ যে খেতি খুব ভাল হ'ব, খুব ভাল শস্য হ'ব। হাৰ্ভেষ্ট মানে খেতি চপোৱা যায়, সেইটোক হাৰ্ভেষ্ট বুলি কোৱা হয়। Crest means শিখৰ, top. The only thing the earth needed was a downpour, or at least a shower. Here the earth refers to the fields. So what did it need? It needed a downpour. Downpour means heavy rain, or even a drizzle would do. So ছাত্ৰ ছাত্ৰীসকল, লেন্সৰ খেতি পথাৰৰ কি প্ৰয়োজন আছিলে? বৰষুণৰ প্ৰয়োজন আছিলে। Throughout the morning, Lancho, who knew his fields intimately means when you know something or someone very closely. So Lancho, he knew everything about his fields. Lanchoe নিজৰ খেতি পথাৰৰ বিষয়ে সকলো কথা জানিছিল। So he had done nothing else but see the sky towards the northeast. So what was Lancho doing throughout the morning? He was only looking at the sky. So why was he looking at the sky? Because he was expecting it to rain. He was looking at the sky towards the northeast direction. So ৰাতিপুৱাৰ পৰা লেন্সোৱে কি কৰি আছিল? মানে আকাশলৈ চাই আছিলে, কাৰণ তেওঁ বৰষুণ হোৱাটো বিচাৰিছিল। Downpour means প্ৰচণ্ড বৰষুণ, and intimately means অন্তৰংগভাৱে। Now we are really going to get some water, woman. So we sing this. Lancho is saying this to his wife. Here the word woman refers to Lancho's wife. And the word water means rain. So Lancho is telling his wife that it will rain today. We are going to get rain. The woman who was preparing supper. Woman means Lancho's wife. And what was she doing? She was preparing supper. Supper means a late dinner. So Lanchoৰ পত্নীয়ে কি কৰি আছিলে? তেওঁ নৈশ আহাৰ বনাই আছিলে। আৰু লেন্সোৱে তেওঁৰ পত্নীক ক'লে যে এতিয়া বৰষুণ দিব। And she replied, yes, God willing. That means if God wishes, we'll surely get rain. যদি ভগৱানে ইচ্ছা কৰে, নিশ্চয় বৰষুণ দিব। The older boys were working in the field while the smaller ones were playing near the house until the woman called to them all, come for dinner. So what were Lancho's boys doing? The older ones, ডাঙৰ ল'ৰাবোৰে, they were all working in the field. ডাঙৰ ল'ৰাবোৰে পথাৰত, খেতি পথাৰত কাম কৰি আছিল। And what were the smaller boys doing? They were playing near the house. আৰু সৰু ল'ৰাবোৰে ঘৰৰ ওচৰতে খেলা ধূলা কৰি আছিল। And then their mother called them all to have dinner. তেওঁলোকক নৈশ আহাৰ গ্ৰহণ কৰিবলৈ মাকে মাতিলে। Supper means নৈশ আহাৰ. It was during the meal that, just as Lancho had predicted, Big drops of rain began to fall. Predict means when you can say something about the future or what is going to happen in the future. So in the last paragraph, we had seen that Lancho told his wife that it is going to rain. And just as he had predicted, big drops of rain began to fall. Predict means পূৰ্বানুমান বা অনুমান কৰা। লেঞ্চোৱে যিদৰে অনুমান কৰিছিল, তেখেতৰ পত্নীক কৈছিল নহয় যে বৰষুণ দিব। চ' কি হ'ল, অলপ পিছতেই ডাঙৰ ডাঙৰ বৰষুণৰ টোপালবোৰ পৰিব ধৰিলে। In the northeast, huge mountains of clouds could be seen approaching. Approaching means to come nearby or to come towards them. So it started to rain, and in the northeast direction, they could see huge mountains of clouds which were coming towards them. The air was fresh and sweet. So লেঞ্চোৱে যিদৰে অনুমান কৰিছিল, সেইদৰে বৰষুণো দিয়া আৰম্ভ কৰিলে। আৰু কি হ'ল, তেওঁলোকে উত্তৰ পূব দিশত মেঘ দেখিব পালে আৰু বতাহজাকো খুব মধুৰ আছিল। Predicted means পূৰ্বানুমান, approaching means ওচৰলৈ অহা। The man went out for no other reason than to have the pleasure of feeling the rain on his body. So the man here refers to Lancho. So when it began to rain, what did Lancho do? He rushed out of the house to feel the raindrops on his body. He wanted to feel the rain on his body. তোমালোকেও ছাত্ৰ ছাত্ৰীসকল কৰা নহয়, কি কৰা? যেতিয়া বৰষুণ দিয়ে, তোমালোকে দৌৰি ওলাই যোৱা নহয় জানো? To feel the rain on your body. And when he returned, he exclaimed, "These aren't raindrops falling from the sky. These are new coins." And when he came inside, he told his wife and his boys that these are not raindrops. These are new coins. So Lancho is comparing the raindrops to new coins. Lanchoৱে যেতিয়া ঘৰলৈ আহিলে, তেতিয়া তেওঁ পত্নী আৰু ল'ৰাক ক'লে যে এয়া বৰষুণৰ টোপাল নহয়, এয়া হৈছে নতুন মুদ্ৰা। So he's comparing the raindrops to coins. In the next paragraph, I'll tell you why. Pleasure means hope. The big drops are 10-cent pieces and the little ones are fives. So he's comparing the raindrops to coins, because as you know, for a good harvest you need good rainfall, isn't it? And if a farmer has good harvest, he will be able to sell the crops and earn a lot of money that would help him financially. So Lancho is comparing the raindrops to coins. He's comparing the big drops to 10 cent. Cent is the smallest unit of a dollar, and he's comparing the small drops to 5 cent. তেওঁ কি কৰিছে, বৰষুণৰ টোপালবোৰ, ডাঙৰ টোপালবোৰক ধৰা 10 পইচা, সৰু টোপালবোৰক 5 পইচা, এইদৰে তেওঁ মুদ্ৰাৰ লগত তুলনা কৰিছে। কিয় কৰিছে? কাৰণ ভাল বৰষুণ হ'লেহে কি খেতি ভাল হ'ব নহয় জানো? আৰু ভাল খেতি হ'লে তেওঁ বজাৰত শস্যবোৰ বিক্ৰী কৰি তেওঁ কি হ'ব, তেওঁৰ আৰ্থিক অৱস্থা ভাল হ'ব। So he is comparing the raindrops to coins. With a satisfied expression, he regarded the field of ripe corn with its flowers draped in a curtain of rain. And so he was looking at his fields, which was covered with rain, and he was very satisfied. He was very happy. As you know, he was expecting it to rain, and rain was very essential for his crops. But suddenly a strong wind began to blow, and along with the rain, very large hailstones began to fall. So everything was going very well as Lancho had planned and hoped. But all of a sudden, what happened? A strong wind began to blow, and the rain changed into a hailstorm. In hailstorm, hailstones begins to fall. So হঠাৎ কি হৈ গ'ল, এটা প্ৰবল বতাহ আৰু বৰষুণ আহিলে, তাৰ পিছত কি হ'ল, সেই বৰষুণজাক শিল বৰষুণলৈ পৰিৱৰ্তন হ'ল। Hailstone means hill borokhun. Look at the picture. These are hailstones, hill borokhun. So you must have seen they look like those frozen ice or small white marbles that fall from the sky. These truly did resemble new silver coins. Resemble means to look similar. So Lanchoe কি কৈছে যে বৰষুণৰ টোপালবোৰ পিছত যে শিল বৰষুণ হ'ল সেইটো কিহৰ লগত তুলনা কৰিছে ৰূপৰ মুদ্ৰাৰ লগত The boys, exposing themselves to the rain, ran out to collect the frozen pearls. The boys here means Lanzo's sons. So what did they do? They ran out of the house to collect the frozen pearls. Frozen pearls means the hailstones. So they went out of the house to collect the hailstones. তোমালোকেও কৰা নহয় যেতিয়া শিল বৰষুণ হয় ঘৰৰ পৰা দৌৰি গৈ বুটলানে so তেওঁলোকেও সেইটোৱে কৰি আছে Now there will be a change of events. It's really getting bad now, exclaimed the man. The man means Lancho. What is Lancho saying? It is really getting bad now. That means now he's a bit tense because he just wanted it to rain, but the rain had changed to a hailstorm. I hope it passes quickly. It did not pass quickly. So Lancho was expecting the hailstorm to get over soon, but it did not. Resembles means একে ধৰণৰ. For an hour, the hail rained on the house, the garden, the hillside, the cornfield, on the whole valley. The field was white as if covered with salt. So the hailstorm, it did not stop. It kept on raining for an hour and it rained all over the place. The valley, the hills, the house, the fields. The field was white as if covered with salt. So look at the picture. So you can see his fields. Earlier, as I told you, the field was so beautiful, yellow in color, full of ripe corn. Now look at the picture. His fields were completely ruined or destroyed. What had happened to the corn? All the hailstones, they fell on the corns and the field was destroyed. And it looked as if it was covered with salt. শিল বৰষুণ যাক কি হ'ল এঘণ্টা হৈয়ে থাকিলে তাৰপিছত কি হ'ল লেঞ্চৰ পথাৰখনলৈ চোৱাচোন গোটেই দেখাত বগা হৈ গ'ল as if covered with salt যেন নিমখেৰে আৱৰি আছে because the hailstones fell and destroyed the crops. Not a leaf remained on the trees. The corn was totally destroyed. So, তেওঁৰ মাকৈৰ খেতি পথাৰ যে আছিলে গোটেই খেতি পথাৰ কি হ'ল ধ্বংস হৈ গ'ল his fields were completely ruined destroyed means ধ্বংস হোৱা the flowers were gone from the plants Lancho's soul was filled with sadness when the storm had passed he stood in the middle of the field and said to his sons so after his fields were completely destroyed now we will see how Lancho feels. So he went to the field just to see what happened to his crops. And now he's telling his son something. So let's see. যেতিয়া ধুমুহা জাক শেষ হ'ল hailstorm যে হৈছিলে শিল বৰষুণ যেতিয়া শেষ হ'ল তেতিয়া তেওঁ পথাৰলৈ গ'ল পথাৰখন এবাৰ চাবলৈ A plague of locust would have left more than this. The hail has left nothing. Plague is a disease which spreads very quickly. You must be aware of that. A locust means a swarm of insects. So, Lancho is telling his sons that had the insects damaged my corn, it would have left something. Jodi horinger dore pok putongoyu mur kheti pothar akromon korile heten tetiao sage kiba roi gol heten kintu etia the hail has left nothing kintu etia aru amar eku nai amar hokolu sheh hoi gol. So, Lancho is saying this to his sons. Plague of locust means পোক পতংগ ফৰিঙৰ আক্ৰমণ. This year we will have no corn. That night was a sorrowful one. So Lancho is saying this to his sons that this year we will have no food and that was a very sad night for all of them. all our work for nothing. It means that we worked so hard, but now we are left with nothing. All our work in vain. So সেই ৰাতিটো খুব দুখৰ ৰাতি এটা আছিলে আৰু তেওঁলোকে কথা পাতি আছে যে আমাৰ আৰু খাবলৈ একো নাই। All our work for nothing, যে আমি ইমান কষ্ট কৰিলো, আমাৰ কষ্ট অথলে গ'ল। There's no one who can help us. So they are feeling very helpless. They're saying that nobody can help us now. We will all go hungry this year. So this year we will have nothing to eat. We will die of starvation. So তেওঁলোকে কথা পাতি আছে যে এই বছৰ আমাৰ আৰু খাবলৈ একো নাই। আমাক আৰু কোনেও সহায় কৰিব নোৱাৰে। So children, we have come to the end of part 1. So let's do a recap. In this part, we read about a farmer called Lancho who hoped for the rain for his crops, because as you know, a good rainfall would lead to a good harvest. So as he had hoped for, it started to rain. But unfortunately, the rain changed into a hailstorm and Lancho's fields were completely destroyed. And Lancho and his family, they were all very sad. They were heartbroken. They were shattered. So they did not know what to do next. They all felt very helpless. So I'm sure you have understood the first part. To check your understanding, I will just ask you a few questions. Look at the questions. Afterwards, you can take the screenshot and note down the answers in your copies. Now I'll just give you short answers. What did Lancho hope for? Lancho hoped for the rain. Why did Lancho say the raindrops were like new coins? Lancho said that the raindrops were like new coins because for a good harvest you needed good rain. And if there was good rainfall, then it would lead to a good harvest. Then the farmer could sell the crops and make good money that would help him financially. So Lancho is comparing the raindrops to new coins. How did the rain change? As you know, a strong wind began to blow and the rain changed into a hailstorm where hailstones began to fall. What happened to Lancho's fields? Lancho's fields were completely destroyed. What were Lancho's feelings when the hail stopped? Lancho was very sad when the hail stopped because his fields were completely destroyed. So children, today we have completed the part 1 of your first chapter, A Letter to God, and I'm sure you enjoyed reading the lesson. So hope to see you in the next class where I will discuss the second part of this lesson. So see you in the next class. Until then, take care. Thank you.